Yo, what's up guys, aviloSoAmaze here. I'm going to bring you essentially another rambling video. So here we go. This is... caution, this video will be very rambly. I may go all over the place. I do have like a little bit of a, a list of things that I want to kind of talk about. But in general, the video is going to be... I may go from topic to topic depending on just, again, what I'm thinking at that moment. But this general video, guys... Why has Stormgate failed? What is going on? What is wrong? What is happening? What happened to Stormgate? How have we got where we are? Where just yesterday or the day before, Stormgate on Twitch, and Stormgate is streamable right now. People can stream it, like it's open access, whatever. Stormgate on Twitch yesterday hit a new viewer mark of 1 concurrent Twitch viewer. 1. How did we get here? How is this possible? How could this not have been foreseen? Well, it was, and that's one of the things that we're going to talk about here, is that a lot of people are acting like, whoa, this is like crazy, like, how did this happen? But the thing is, people were told since day one, that there were issues with the game. I'm going to go to the one that I disagree with personally, but was a huge issue for everybody else. The art style. There was massive feedback with the art style. People had issues with that, and because of the echo chamber of feedback that they were getting, and also, here's another thing that we're going to go into, censorship of feedback. And censorship of just... censorship in general, just a mass amount of censorship from the Stormgate community and subreddit. But basically, they were, early on, people were not happy with the direction that, like, because everybody wanted, like, an SC2 Warcraft type of, like, successor. That's what we were sold on that. The game was marketed. Here's another big thing, and again, I'm going to go all over the place here because there's so many things that intertwine, but Stormgate was marketed to us Starcraft 2 players, me and everybody else that plays Starcraft 2. It was marketed mainly to us, mainly to people that loved RTS games, as like the next Starcraft. A lot of people were under the impression, including myself, that like these former Starcraft developers left Blizzard because they wanted to create Starcraft 3. That's the impression and what we were all led to believe. And instead what we got was a game that is more... And I said this over a year ago in one of the other videos I made. Somebody should watch that, about my first impressions of Stormgate or whatever, when they showed the thing on IGN, or, the game show thing. But people were under the impression that it was going to be a successor, or like Starcraft 3, essentially. Spiritual successor. These words were being thrown around. RTS, Renaissance, the sequel to Starcraft. Because we were led to believe, like, oh, these guys left Blizzard, they created their own studio or whatever, and they're all, former Starcraft, Warcraft devs or whatever. We were led to believe that it was going to be Starcraft 3. That was, if anything encapsulates what we all thought, guys, about what Stormgate was going to be. We all thought if you could think of one thing, you'd think sequel to Starcraft 2, the next thing, Starcraft 3. But the way the game plays is too much like Warcraft. And you have to remember, the biggest RTS audience that existed when Stormgate was announced is the StarCraft 2 audience. We were all told it was going to be like StarCraft 2, and it's more like Warcraft 3, which I said over a year ago, and that was before we ever even saw anything, and I was right. I was absolutely right on that the game, with the whole creep camp mechanic, that, by the way, this is another... Nobody likes it. No, what are you doing, Stormgate? What are you doing? Nobody what echo chamber of feedback are these guys getting that anybody wanted creep camps? Or literally Warcraft 4. Nobody wanted Warcraft 4. Nobody. We wanted StarCraft 3. I'm just being real here, being honest. The RTS, the StarCraft 2 audience, we wanted StarCraft 3, the spiritual successor. We didn't want Warcraft 4. There's a reason why Warcraft 3 died off kind of and had less viewers till the remaster came out, and now, there's content creators like Robbie and so forth that that play it and make content for it, which is great. That's great. But there's a reason why StarCraft 2 was always the most popular and the RTS, and it's been the best RTS, just high quality. So we were told Stormgate would be StarCraft 3, essentially, in essence, and it ended up being more like Warcraft and like all these weird creep I said this in the first video I made when nobody knew anything. They were trying to shove the creep camp mechanic into Stormgate, and here we are. I personally think the creep camp mechanic in Stormgate oppresses the entire game from actually being playable. I think that the mechanic is so oppressive to the actual like fundamentals of the game. It is a very strange thing because I'll be playing Stormgate and I'll be enjoying it. But most of the game is just farming neutral creeps that are just it's just irrelevant nonsense, and like it's just like Swarm Host from StarCraft 2, which no one liked. Anyways, that's gameplay. I'm not even going to really talk too much about the gameplay. I like the gameplay, but that's not the point. I think the most ironic thing here is the game actually plays pretty nicely. The issue is everything around the game. The bad PR, the bad takes, the developers kind of either not listening or taking too long to listen. Maybe there's a little bit of that. The $35 million investment meme, which where has that gone? Like what is going on? They're like posting on their Twitter that they're putting like cosmetic cats in the store rather than like, why is that a priority over like making the game complete or like custom hotkeys? Like I don't know. These are things that everyone is noticing and asking, but I would say a year or two ago I would even be too afraid to even talk about this stuff, and that's another thing. The censorship and just the being afraid to give realistic feedback because of fear that like you're going to get excommunicated from the Stormgate community, which by the way, that is a thing that has happened to me and probably other people as well. Because, for example, guys, here, and again, like I said, I'm going to be all over the place, but I'm going to try and be as coherent as I can in a logical manner. But when when the subreddit first came up, I remember I made a video about Stormgate, posting about it, discussing it, talking about it when it was first announced or whatever. Somebody had posted my video to the Stormgate subreddit. It was removed and deleted from their Stormgate subreddit. Why? Why? So my content was already being censored, but not just me. There's other people that were also critical back then, and there's probably other couple of YouTubers that made some videos. Some of you listening to this video, watching it, may even be amongst those that are being like I've seen on Twitter, like the Play Stormgate account is like randomly blocking some people that are being critical or whatever. Like what is? So there's been a culture of censorship around Stormgate, the subreddit. This could just be bad hires or putting bad people in these places, like these. Like, again, my content was censored from day one on the Stormgate subreddit. And then also, by the way, so I paid $40 for the founder pack or whatever, which gives you access to the beta Discord and whatnot and all that stuff. Great. I was removed from the beta Discord, without ever speaking a word, without ever saying anything, I was just in there because, well, I bought the Founders Packet. That was part of the deal that is listed on their website. You get to join the beta Discord so you can get news and stuff. I was just in there for basically keeping up to date with the game. But it turns out the weirdo moderators from the Stormgate community or whatever, or Stormgate themselves, I actually don't know, but I guess they can just scapegoat the mods that they have. Somebody mentioned that Avilo came up with a Hornet build, like back in that first beta, one of the first beta phases that was streamable. I came up with a Hornet build, and then somebody had posted about it. Within half an hour of me posting about it, I was removed from the Stormgate Discord that I paid $40 to be able to be in the first place, essentially. And their mods removed me, so that was already a bad sign there. They're not respecting a customer's money. If they don't respect mine, why would they respect yours? I'm a little salty about that because I didn't say a word, but clearly they wanted the moderators there or the community wanted to censor my content, and why? So like these are just things that are bad for PR in general, and then of course, again, the Storm. Back then, too, guys, there was a beta tournament you could play in this. There was the first open Stormgate beta tournament. Signed up for it, and because certain casters, I'm just gonna say their names. I guess Nathanius and Beowulf, they can correct me if they didn't have a hand in this, but because they were casting the first beta tournament, and because it's the Starcraft 2 people that are the in crowd, they didn't want to have cast me back then. Even that was my first encounter with like not being able to play an open tournament of a new game for some unknown reason. But those guys in some way were involved, because when I joined the tournament Discord, I was in there for like a week, and then I was removed as soon as the tournament was gonna start. So again, that's like artificial content control, censorship. They only wanted to try and have like partying win every tournament or something, or like the people that I guess. That back then, guys, I beat like 5 different StarCraft 2 streamers like the first week that I played the Stormgate beta. So I guess they figured like, oh man, like he might abuse Hornets and win the tournament or something. Again, this is just I don't want to make this whole thing towards me, but these things all add up together. It's just bad PR. And I will go over a little bit about how like they removed me from tournaments, because and the reason I'm going to go into that is not because it's just about me. But this type of gatekeeping attitude is very, very prevalent, and it's part of the reason why Stormgate only has like 200 to 300 concurrent viewers playing the game itself. Like the game is literally dead right now, and this attitude from people in the Stormgate community is exactly why there's nobody playing the game anymore. So again, I'm going to mention a little bit about the follow-up on the Stormgate tournament situation. But yeah, so we were told it would be StarCraft 3. There's $35 million or whatever, like, and then like they're removing people like me that paid Founders Packs money from the Discords. So guys, basically anybody that knew my content 3-4 years ago or whatever, there was a game called Spellbreak. And Stormgate is following the exact same pattern as Spellbreak. The exact same pattern to a T, where... And they're even making some of the same mistakes, where there's a very small group of pre-alpha testers, they get godly at the game, and then when anyone new plays the game, they get owned on the ladder, and then they don't load up the game again. Developers call this churn rate, the churn of like how players, they pick up a new game, and it's something that churn rate, they don't want people to stop playing the game, because obviously especially if it's a game where they have like a live service where they're going to update the game and stuff, and it's free to play, they don't want the churn rate to be high. They want people obviously to play the game and be invested and play more. And so there's just a whole lot to digest here. But basically, like, with that the Spellbreak situation, guys, the small, tiny group of players end up being so good at the game. That's why you hear about, like, partying or, like, 1 or 2 other names. They get so good at the game because they have, let's be real, they get access to the game earlier than everybody else to an extreme. And then, like, it's new players that play get owned. And then when everybody's getting owned by people that have had, like, so much early access to the game, it's bad. Even worse is, then that tiny group of players get too much influence with the developers saying, change this, change that, or whatever. And then that tiny little clique forms, and then suddenly the game is being gatekept. And you have, like, for example, the situation where somebody like me, I didn't play all of it initially before everybody had access. I wasn't in that tiny group of the in-crowd. Then I start beating the in-crowd in tournaments, and then they don't want me to play tournaments, and they try and remove me because they know that I'm beating their favorite players or whatever. This happens. So that's another thing that is similar to the Spellbreak, where Spellbreak had this tiny group of players that got so good at the game that then it turned off a lot of the new players that started to play it. So yeah, but guys, there's so many. The PR has been bad for the game. We had like Starcraft 2 players getting early access and shilling for the game, saying that I quote that they said the game would be good because the floors at Frost Giant Studios were not sticky or something, and that they also had a rock climbing gym, and that they had dogs at the office or something. Go look it up. It's a meme. It's a hilarious meme. But you had people that were very like this very pretentious, fake, like disingenuous, not authentic like reviews of the game initially, and people catch on. Really, people could feel if you're being authentic, if you're being real, or like giving a fair shake to something. And early on, that type of thing was happening where they were just getting like a couple StarCraft 2 people that they wanted to try and promote, and then those StarCraft 2 people were very blatantly, because they were invested and wanted to get money from potentially this new game, they would just give it a good review and say all this weird stuff to, you know, because they wanted to get in good with the devs or whatever. So I'm just going to go real quickly. Again, this attitude, part of the Stormgate issue is attitude of the community, the echo chamber. Everybody was giving feedback. It wasn't being listened to because this tiny clique of people got in with the Stormgate crowd, and then they became mods on their Discord, so then they ban whoever they want. If any criticism was given, it got banned, censored. But I'm just going to give you, let's just give you an example here. If we can bring this. So I'm just going to go through here, because I mean, I find it hilarious and asinine at the same time, but... So if we just bring this up, for example. So this was back when they were removing me from the Stormgate tournaments, guys. So you'll see here. So this was I made a video which had like around 4,000 views, which is pretty good. So they removed me from a tournament for essentially no reason given, just because I guess they don't like me, or like I said, I was beating their favorite players. And then some people replied here. Which is fine. But yeah, it's just very weird, so they were removing me. And then you see here, so then they made so, you know, because they were, again, all these tournaments are colluding to do this stuff. So then they made a Google Doc sheet, which was a list of people who were suspended by tournament organizers from Stormgate. And then, of course, the list initially only had me on it. Quite the list to literally, the list only had me. But then, of course, they added 2 other people to the list because they didn't want to seem like they just made an entire list just to not let me play tournaments for absolutely no reason. And then, but even worse, guys, here, even worse, and this disingenuous stuff is, if you look over here, look at how long, first of all, no reason is given for my suspension. They have none, which I mentioned in the other video. But then you'll see here, I'm suspended till 2,100, guys. So we got about another 76 years to go. And my appeal was denied for whatever reason, we don't know. Pretty much we do know, guys. They didn't want me to potentially get big from placing high in Stormgate tournaments because they knew that I was really good at the game. They didn't want to cast me, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, there's people that have been convicted of actual crimes in real life that have less of a nonsense thing done to them than these guys. Like, this type of attitude is prevalent in the Stormgate community amongst these tournaments and, like, the people, like, these tournaments being run. Like, this is just completely asinine and ridiculous. Like, so, hashtag free Avilo from tournaments, because apparently, guys, this is, like, justified. By the way, it's 2024, and I have not played in any StarCraft, let alone Stormgate tournaments, since, like, 2018. It's already been, like, 6 years. There's people that literally in real life, that have done real-life crime that have less of a punishment than me playing in a Stormgate tournament. Think about how asinine and how crazy that is and how weird it is. These people are just, it's just weird. And this is the type of vibe that the Stormgate community has given off, with the censorship, not listening to feedback, and this and that, and their weirdo Discord mods and their weirdo subreddit mods. So, and then of course, we're gonna get into this other thing. So yeah, guys. Apparently, I'm suspended till 2100 for some reason because again, they didn't want me to get potentially big again from like placing high in tournaments. Anyways, so now let's go to another problem with Stormgate. So here we have a roadmap. This is a roadmap for that they basically, you know, they were radio silent on their subreddit for quite a while. They were a bit radio silent. And then people were saying, yo, what are you doing? Release a roadmap. So finally they did. And this, I'm just going to tell you, like, this, honestly, like, it's good that they released a roadmap, but the priorities are just so completely backwards here. Like, why is glowing up the Amara character, why is this a priority? Like, why was this a thing? Like, really? This should be, like, nowhere on here. Like, new Vanguard hero skins, like, okay. Like, new tier 3 units. Why is this not, like, this should... Guys, when Starcraft 2 beta came out, like, the game was complete in the beta. Like, besides balance tweaks and some changes here and there, the game was basically, like, for... Like, you could play the game, all the units were in the game, all 3 races, tier 3, tier 2, tier... Everything, like, all of the actual, like, stuff was in the game. Why is this in... Why... $35 million, all of the people that backed on Kickstarter, including me, why is it in the future that you're going... That you... How... It doesn't take that long to add a new unit into the game. Like, why is this not an immediate, instant priority to have in the game? It doesn't make sense to me or anybody, and this is why they're getting so much negative feedback and pushback and criticism. And then that feedback, by the way, is censored by their weirdo Discord mods and subreddit mods. But the crazy thing is not even that. Like, they'll censor my content on their subreddit from being shown, but then there's a couple other Starcraft Stormgate creators that they just let them post their VODs there. So they're like picking and choosing creators as well on the subreddit, and in general, that's not a good thing to happen. But yeah, even like here, like, what is... There's no clear, like 3v3, in my opinion, is not... No one cares about 3v3. Like, who is the audience for Stormgate? It's mostly the Starcraft people. There's just no clear audience here. So then we go over to... And then, so, the thing that got me when I saw this recently is, if we look at this, like, then we have this. This was from the 25th, so this was, like, from 5 days ago or whatnot. And we have Meet Cute Kitty, the latest pet to join the Stormgate family. A perfect add to your ever-growing collection of cute. Pick up yours today in the in-game store. Why are we able to add in-game store things for purchase, but we don't have the game being completed yet with tier 3 units and things missing from the game? Like, these two things, you have to just be willfully ignorant or, like, close your eyes to not look at this and put 2 and 2 together, that, like, how come this can be something that is implemented, but new tier 3 units are, like, this should not be in the future, this should be now. The game should be, like, now. That should be right now. So that's crazy to me. And this is following the same exact pattern as Spellbreak, where Spellbreak was doing stuff. They had their store functioning, but the game was not functioning. And then what happened with Spellbreak was then they ended up shutting down about a year later, because they told everybody that, like, they were going to do Chapter 3 of Spellbreak thing, and then, so they were happy to leave the in-game store up and get people to be purchasing stuff, but then they closed down the game a year later, and all the developers then jumped ship over to World of Warcraft, the Spellbreak proletariat developers. So basically, just, you know, a pump and dump, and then they, you know, kind of, they said they were working on it, they probably weren't, and then they just took the money and ran. And I'm not saying that that's a Stormgate situation, but it very well could be. From everything that we're seeing, where has all the $35 million gone? Where, like, why is the game not complete, but you can put in an in-game cat into the cosmetic store? Why is the dog meta not fixed for 5 months, and then it is? Like, why? This game was marketed as the RTS Renaissance, and it has less than 300 people a lot of days on on the Steam charts, on the concurrent player base. And you're not doing yourself any favors, Stormgate or Stormgate community, by trying to remove content, remove feedback, legitimate feedback, which they've done since day one, removing criticisms, or making content creators feel like, for example, me making this video, I would not have made this like a year and a half ago until I knew for certain that I wasn't going to be accosted and that I would be able to play the game, because I didn't want to like have degenerates like doing stuff, or even I say something negative and then like you know, people back then were like, you know, they were fear mongering, saying like, oh, they might even try and like remove you from the game and not let you play it and stuff. Back then I wouldn't even made this video, but now like whatever, like it doesn't, who cares at this point. And obviously we've seen all the stuff that's happened with me being removed from tournaments, which is just insane. But like this, there's just a bad PR, bad attitude. It's the and the shame in all this, guys, is I think the game is actually pretty damn good. And I'm being removed from tournaments and having bad stuff happen towards me for absolutely no reason. And I still am here saying that, like, I actually think the core game is good, but it's all these other things that are making it just have bad PR, and the stuff that, like, just stuff outside and around the game. Like, why'd they remove people from their Discord server just because they have some insane moderators that are doing that? Why do they have insane subreddit moderators that are giving them so bad PR that we're removing any negative criticism before? Like, at some point, when like you realize the game has 250 approximately like concurrent players playing and nobody is streaming it on Twitch, you got to go back to the drawing board, guys. Like, I'm saying this like genuinely, because like otherwise what's going to end up is we're going to end up with another Spellbreak situation, another game where the devs end up abandoning it. And I'm not saying they're going to, but look at all the evidence of like what is going on, the burn rate of like, you know, there's plenty of other people that know more about that than I do, of like, you know, what is, you know, how long they could keep a game like this going that doesn't have any support or players. They can say all they want that we're going to keep it going, but if it, you know, if it doesn't match reality, then what? Like, so with all of this stuff said, and there's so many things, again, not even wrong with the game itself, besides the fact that they should actually be like, you know, it should be complete and not worry about cosmetic pets in the in-game store. Like, complete the game. The core game, custom hotkeys are more important than... People will put money towards a product if it's complete. All we want is a complete game. But with this set, with all this stuff around the game, what can be done? Can Stormgate, can it be turned around? Can it be turned around here? Like, how? How could they actually like get people like how could they get people to play it? I'm just gonna tell you a little story, guys. Starcraft 2, and again, I'm sorry this video is so rambly, but just take it in. Just take the rambles in. Starcraft 2 had natural growth. It had natural progression along with Twitch. Besides, Twitch was getting huge back then. I remember traveling 9 hours. I drove 9 hours to North Carolina, if I remember correctly, to the first MLG event for StarCraft 2, where there were no chairs. Esports was not even a thing in the Americas yet, or big at all. League wasn't big. I remember driving 9 hours to play in an open qualifier, to try and make my way as a professional gamer, or whatever. I remember driving 9 hours for that. I placed like 11th, 12th, or 13th. I forget what it was, out of like, you know, 250 people or however many people that I placed like 11th, 12th, or 16th. I forget what it was. But the point is, I placed decent. But that wasn't the point. The point was that I was doing it. And there was a thing to do. So traveling 9 hours for me was worth it. It started to get me traction online. I went to the next one, and I went to the next one. And then I broke through because that Columbus, Ohio MLG event, I actually lost in the open brackets. I lost to a guy. I don't even remember who I played. I actually ended up losing the series, but I had an hour-long game. I played an hour-long game where I launched like 41 nukes in the game. The people from MLG realized how good of a game and how sick that was. They made a montage of it, of all of the nukes. They made an edit of it, put it on the website. I started gaining even more traction. So because of the effort I was putting in to travel to these LAN events, like, it was actually, that was giving me growth. People liked seeing me go to the tournaments, try and qualify. I was trying to make it as a pro gamer. And the thing is, so many other people were doing the same thing. So much natural passion injected into it. And that type of esports passion is what made StarCraft 2 great at the beginning. And, like, you know, that's what made streaming so insane. That's what made people want to watch me and other streamers. And go to these events and watch. There was storylines, there were players, there were streamers to watch and play. So much energy and passion back then. But the thing for Stormgate, it's 2024. It's a new age. It's a new time. That era is gone, and you can't recreate it artificially by removing players you don't like from Discord and your subreddit. And you know, because they did that back then. You know, it took long enough to get on the Team Liquid featured stream list for me and other players to even break through that nonsense. So to then try and do that again for Stormgate. Stormgate right now is Storm Gatekeeping. The game is being gatekept by a tiny, niche amount of people that are just making the game for themselves. Because if you're not going to let it be an open game and have natural growth and let Avilo play in tournaments or whoever else, or you see a video online that's speaking negatively about it, so you remove it from the subreddit or this and that, that StarCraft 2 thing that happened, that lightning in a bottle magic, it happened because of authenticity, natural, real growth. People like me that were putting in not only time online, streaming and playing the game, but like literally I driving 9 hours to an event and like going there, talking to people, meeting people, like all of it goes hand in hand, and it ended up, you know, again, making me big online and other people too, because it's an ecosystem. So you can't remove people from the ecosystem and then expect the food chain to work. All you're going to end up with is a dead ecosystem. Just like in marine biology, you remove a couple fish or natural predators or prey. Same thing happens in the streaming thing. So like, okay, remove Avilo from a Stormgate tournaments, guys. Let's collude to remove Avilo so that, because we don't like Avilo, we don't want him to get viewers or beat our favorite players. Okay, you did that. Great. What'd you do? You ended up defeating the thing. You like, the scene is going to die because of it. You're removing somebody like me that has a lot of passion, time, and energy. I even made a montage lately for the game, and it's not appreciated. Like, streaming and playing the game is not appreciated at all. It's not authentic. You can't just naturally prop up partying in every Stormgate tournament and think anybody's gonna care at all. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that partying is playing in his 15th Stormgate tournament and that there's 5 people and he like, you become a king of nothing. Like, if there's 10 people playing the game, you're the best person, great. The game is dead. You're a king of nothing. It'll end up vanishing, and it's just nothing anyways, and it's just bad for everybody. You can't even create a natural ecosystem for people to thrive and make content. So what can Stormgate do to right this ship? Let content creators like myself that are passionate. We're the ones here. We're the ones here that are trying to make content, and we want the game to succeed, but leave the game open to all content creators. Unban me from the Discord server that I paid $40 for. Respect the time, effort, and energy I'm putting in, and do the same for everybody else. Remove your weirdo Discord moderators, your subreddit. Get rid of them. Get new people, and let it be an open community instead of a gate-kept community by a couple of Stormgate content creators that like want to. They see the money and they want to artificially get big, so then they don't let anybody else do it or whatever, which is happening. That's happening. And even if it's not happening a lot, people notice and it starts to add up. All these things add up. You should never do this. These games should never do this where they make it a tiny niche gate-kept community, because people notice and then they don't want to play the game. They'll go play Fortnite and other games, League, Fortnite. You'll notice, like, what did Riot do with Tyler 1? They got him. They pulled him into the fold. They got him on his side. Why are we making the same mistakes, Stormgate, that StarCraft 2 made, where the devs I said a couple bad things about the game balance or whatever, and then the devs were like trying to like, you know, they were like not letting me play the game, or like trying to blacklist me for beta keys. Why not just get me? Why not like this? This is another thing that I have to mention, guys. That is I find completely ridiculous and hilarious, but I actually was in the or am in or was in, I don't even know. I was in the Stormgate content creator program. Yes, that's right. Like they were having the video calls. Like I think I even joined one on Zoom where they like were just getting, you know, random content creators that signed up because on their website to join the content creator program to try and promote and market the game. I was in that, but why no one ever reached out to me to work with me. I even sent an email before they don't like. I didn't even get like when I was, for example, when I was removed from the beta Discord server for no reason. I like sent an email to somebody that frustrating. I never received a reply or response. They so clearly they didn't care or they didn't respect the fact that they. I mean, they're the ones that put. I was in the. I don't. It doesn't even make sense to me. Like, get me and other content creators. Get us in there. We'll market the game for you. But the fact is, right now, it's only people that they want to market the game for them. Like, I can have a sick How good would it be? I make a sick montage. Stormgate, reach out to me. I'll make another sick montage of your game. Like that montage I made, it makes Stormgate look really good. It makes the game actually look really, really good. Why are we trying to, like, have a closed, gatekept community? Just get people to work for you, like Riot did with Tyler 1. They got him, and it's a mutually beneficial relationship between content creators. But you gotta be real. You gotta be authentic. It has to be an authentic thing. It has to grow from an authentic place. It can't be faked. And that's what I feel like, at least when I see, like, the Stormgate stuff that happened to me, and, like, but I see it on Twitter, too. I see people, like, and the subreddit censorship. It's, anyways, the only way to right this ship for Stormgate is remove the bad people, get rid of the people that are giving you bad PR. They're giving you bad PR. This tournament stuff of removing me and other players, stop doing that. I don't think it's going to stop. So, I mean, the only place the game can go is down if that doesn't stop. It is what it is. It'll end up like Spellbreak. Just, they'll probably shut down in like a year or two. Like, you gotta take action and right the ship. Like, because it has nothing to do with the game. I'm going to say this, I'm going to just say this to everybody watching. The Stormgate situation literally actually has nothing to do with the game. It's the community. It's bad eggs in the community. They have bad people in moderator positions on Discord, subreddit, all of the censorship. Like, it's a clusterfuck, you know? It's just, the only way to write it is to just complete the core game, get better PR, let content creators work. People, if you have somebody complaining about your game, you want those. As soon as you lose those people, as soon as you lose the ones, as like me, that are passionate and we're here and we still care, as soon as you start losing us because you didn't want a little bit of criticism, once you start losing us, you've lost the rest of everybody else. You need the passionate people, whether it's them being mega positive and hype, or giving you negative criticism, but justifiably so, that you can listen to. You need the authenticity, and that's something I feel like these StarCraft 2 people that uprooted themselves into Stormgate, it's created this weird community, and they need to get it back on track where just let the game grow, let content creators criticize the hell out of you, let everybody, let it be an open community, let everybody play in your tournaments, because it has to be natural growth. Like, me driving 9 hours that first MLG event was a huge deal for me. And for anybody else that traveled to those LAN events back then, those were huge deals. Imagine if I got there and they said, yo, you can't play because we don't like you, you're Avilo. You're not allowed to play in this event because you've made some balance complaints in your videos online. Imagine if they did that to Idra back then, who was very popular for StarCraft 2. Anyways, it wouldn't have grown. Like you need authentic growth. You need those good guys, bad guys storylines in the community. You need the streamers streaming the game. You need all of it. You need all of it. It all goes together, and all of that actually is part of marketing the game. If you have, oh man, Avril played another Stormgate tournament. Oh man, this guy, like, it can't just only be, hey guys, Partying played the 15th Stormgate tournament. It's disingenuous. Like, okay, we get it. Partying played like 15 months before everybody else, so he got better at the game. So he's just good at the game. He's the god of the 10 people that play the game. Congrats. All right, sorry to ramble and rant a little bit. That's it. It's like Stormgate has a lot of issues, and it's in part because of the community around the game and the attitude of people in the community. That's why you need to stop this closed off stuff. Like, just let everybody play it. Let it have natural growth. It might be too late now. They might have screwed it all. It might be too late. But I just want people to know that this negativity was seeped in from the start. The moment that they started censoring stuff on their subreddit, and the moment that they started censoring me and other people in their, they removed me from the Discord and all this. Like, this was very early on that it seeped in, and we're only seeing now. You're seeing the results of it today of why Stormgate has like massively failed. And again, to end the video, the only way the Stormgate ship can be turned around, so to speak, is if they 180 on all of these. Let everybody play in your tournaments, no matter who they are, no matter what they look like, no matter what you think of them, no matter your attitude toward. Let everyone play in open tournaments, including me, by the way. Let your passionate content creators make content. Promote them on your subreddit. If you don't like them, who cares? Let them post their video. Let them post it on the subreddit. They might say good things. They might say bad things. Let the content grow naturally. Don't allow Stormgate, Frost Giant. Do not continue to allow your two dumbass the Discord moderator guys. Those two mods on. Stop letting them remove people from your community, and stop it. Stop it. It's horrible. It's horrible. Remove those people. Let it be open to everybody. Don't make it a gate-kept community. Let everybody play. Let everybody participate. Let it grow naturally. Let me post my montage video. Let this guy post his YouTube guide. Let this guy participate in tournaments. Stop it. Remove the people that are like hampering. They're creating negative PR for you. Those guys are. And those guys have nothing to lose. They're just on Discord. They remove me from their from the Discord server because they don't like me. That doesn't, like, they do it to other people too. Like, you're not gaining anything. And also, get content creators like myself. I'm literally on your side, guys, but you're hampering me. Like, it's so crazy. Like, I want this game to succeed like everybody else. And you're censoring my videos in your subreddit. Like, I make a montage. Like, you're allowing these people to remove me from tournaments. And at this point, I just, obviously, let's just say the obvious. It's obvious that Stormgate does have a hand in removing me from tournaments. Probably, right? Because I got removed from the first beta tournament. Like, but it all goes to, and you know, they obviously don't want to take any flack themselves. So these other guys that randomly remove me are gonna take the fall on that one. So how about we stop doing that? How, you know, like, having passionate creators making content on your side, or if you think, or here's the thing, guys. Here's the crazy thing. If anybody thinks that like, oh my god, like Avilo would be like, talk to me, have a conversation. It's that simple. You'll find out that like it's that easy. Have a conversation with me. Be like, yo, Avilo, you know, we think this, and this about you, but like, we see that like, okay, you're making good content. Like that montage was actually pretty good, but this is like, work with us. Like, help us market the game. I'm open to that. But removing all the stuff that, you know, the removing from tournaments and all this weird stuff, like, has to stop. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm sorry this ramble went on way way too long. Honestly, this has been a very rambly video, and I'm sorry the thoughts are just everywhere because there's so much literally wrong with what has transpired with the Stormgate thing, and me personally, I'm probably not gonna play too much more Stormgate if there's no incentive for me to stream or play the game if I can't even play in tournaments. Like, I really was, you know, when I signed up for those tournaments, I was like, yo, it's gonna be so cool. I'll be able to make videos that could potentially go viral of me playing in the tournament. Like, maybe I beat somebody that really good in the tournament. Like, and all that was just completely, boom, shut down. Congrats to the bullies of Stormgate that did that. Like, it's a ripple effect, guys. If those videos, if I played in the tournaments, done well, done poorly, whatever, played against so-and-so, played against another content creator, like, those videos I would have had those. I would have had that content. Would have been Stormgate content. Like, you need people like me in your ecosystem making videos about your game, about the game itself, the gameplay. It's just such a shame. So, are we gonna? My question. I'm gonna actually end this with a question. My question to Frost Giant and the Stormgate community is: are you guys gonna be brave enough to write this, to turn the ship around? Are you guys gonna be brave enough to let me and other content creators make the content? Whether you think it's good or bad, whether you like me or not, or so and so, are you guys willing to, like, actually do stuff like that? Are you willing to stop censoring any and all feedback about the game? I think we all know what the answer to that might be, but might be too late now. Don't know. Anyways, peace out, dudes. I'm going to focus on mostly StarCraft 1, the S-Rank challenge. I'm going to focus mostly... Maybe I'll stream StarCraft 2 again. The League challenge. But until something changes, not with Stormgate, the game itself, because the game itself will always get balance changes as long as the developers are doing that. But until something changes with Stormgate community, what is the point of, like, playing the game if I'm being, like, you know, accosted from playing in tournaments for absolutely no reason? Like, it's what is the point? And don't get me wrong, every content creator probably feels the same about this. What is the point? If there's only 250 people or less playing the game, there's no point to make content for it. And again, once you lose the passionate people, Stormgate, they're gone. Like, the people in the very, you know, close-knit echo chamber might applaud, like, you stopped Avilo from playing tournaments, but no one else is applauding. Everybody's just going to play other games, and your game is dead. So, anyways, yeah, we'll see in the next year if Stormgate can turn it around. I'd like to play in tournaments, but again, until we see some changes with the Stormgate community itself, it's not the game. Never was the game. The game, I think, has its own problems, and or is good in some ways, bad in other ways. Not the game. Stormgate, you did this to yourselves. It's the community. It's the people you put in bad spots for PR. Turn it around. Get in contact with me. Get content creators to get on your side that are passionate and want to make content. Otherwise, I'm going to go make some AOM videos, League videos, and some Minecraft videos and not waste my fucking time. See ya.